In the grand theater of existence, we find ourselves perched upon a precipice between being the architects of thought and mere spectators to its relentless cascade. This discourse ventures into the profound enigma: are you the thinker or the one watching thoughts? It is an inquiry not merely about cognition, but touches on the very essence of consciousness, existence, and our place within this intricate tapestry we call life. At first glance, one might argue that thought itself, the engineered marvel behind human innovation, culture, and individuality, is where identity resides. Yet, upon deeper reflection, a dissonance arises between the act of thinking and its perceived self as an entity separate from it. The rhythm of our thoughts seems to beat in harmony with this notion. We think, therefore I am. But pause for contemplation. What if thought is but one note within a grander symphony? The journey into understanding begins at the threshold where awareness meets consciousness without distinction or separation. Here lies an internal tension. To be aware and yet not fully grasp our role in this cognitive dance feels like standing on shifting sands, perpetually questioning, am I merely a thinker within my mind's labyrinth? Or am I the observer of these thoughts that seem so vividly real? As we delve into deeper reflections, consider consciousness as an ocean, vast and encompassing yet intimate in its depths. Are our streams of thought but ripples upon the surface, or are they indicative of a profound connection to the very essence that birthed them? The rhythm here is not one of waves crashing against rocks, but rather an ebb and flow within which we find ourselves both lost in reflection and yet intrinsically part. Progressively, as thoughts become more complex, a symphony or a cacophony to some, the question arises: are these the constructs I command? Or are they echoes of something greater that resonates through my being without invitation or consent? The flow here is not linear, but spirals inward and outwards, touching upon questions about free will versus determinism. Within this philosophical exploration lies a tension between the self as an individual thinker, a singular entity with desires, fears, aspirations, and consciousness that transcends personal identity to embody universality and interconnectedness of all beings. As we ponder our role in thought's grand design, do we not find ourselves questioning the very fabric of individuality? As thoughts evolve into emotions, desires, fear is a spectrum that colors human experience with vibrant hues yet often leads to discord and strife. Herein lies a reflective pause. Are these feelings merely chemical reactions within our brains, or are they the language through which consciousness communicates? The flow here is not just internal but shared, as we recognize in others expressions that mirror back at us an aspect of ourselves, a universal resonance with humanity. In contemplating wisdom and knowledge, one might consider them to be mere products or byproducts of thoughtful inquiries. However, upon deeper reflection, they appear not just as accumulations but rather reflections in the pool of collective consciousness that we are all partaking from without a shared wellspring. The rhythm here is a harmonious blend where individual discovery and communal wisdom coalesce into one continuous flow towards understanding our place within this cosmic expanse. As thoughts crystallize into beliefs, the internal tension intensifies. Are these convictions born of personal experience or inherited from an ancestral consciousness that transcends time? The rhythm here becomes a complex interplay between individuality and universality, a dance where each step is both unique to oneself yet part of humanity's collective journey. In the realm of dreams, we find ourselves adrift in landscapes unbound by physical reality. However, within this ethereal domain lies a mirror reflecting our deepest selves and fears, a place where thoughts are not just observed but experienced with visceral intensity. The flow here is oniric yet tangibly real to the dreamer's consciousness, an internal narrative that shapes perception, understanding of self, and interpretation of reality itself. As we approach unity, a state beyond thought or mere observation, a singularity where individual thoughts dissolve into oneness with all existence, the question arises once more: are these the constructs I command? Or am I merely an instrument through which consciousness expresses its boundless creativity and love? The flow here is not just internal but cosmic, a return to source from whence thought emerged as much part of it as any other aspect we experience or perceive in our lives. In this discourse on the nature of selfhood within the context of consciousness, a journey through levels beyond mere cognition and awareness, we find ourselves oscillating between roles: thinker, observer, participant, and witness to thought itself. The rhythm here is not just a back and zero forth, but an unfolding spiral where each turn brings us closer to the heart of our inquiry without ever fully arriving at its center. In this exploration devoid of narrative or characters, a purely reflective and philosophical journey through thought, consciousness, and existence, we are left with a profound question that reverberates beyond words. Are we not both the thinkers who conceive thoughts within us and simultaneously partake in an eternal watchful eye over this ever-evolving stream of cognition? The discourse thus becomes less about defining roles as much as understanding their fluidity, suggesting perhaps our truest essence lies neither solely behind nor apart from thought, but intrinsically woven into its very fabric. As we ponder these questions and the nature of consciousness itself, a quest that transcends empirical measurement or philosophical debate alone, we come to recognize a shared journey. One where our individual thoughts are both singular drops in an oceanic expanse, yet also reflections within it, echoing back at us from every corner of existence. It is here we find the ultimate truth, that consciousness may not be something separate waiting for discovery, but rather what has been looking through our eyes all along, the boundless and self-luminous essence in which each thoughtful inquiry into are you the thinker or the one watching thoughts is both a question asked by us alone, yet also an answer whispered back to us from within.